Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, and the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew of Lashkadash, the Holy Tongue, and I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Akim, Aqua, I say Shalom. And this is a quick sit-down lesson of your World War III news updates as of June the 20th, 2026 on this Saturday night. And this is from the Jerusalem Post. It says the Hormuz must be clear of 80 mines, may not be open in 10 years in, the tanker body reports. It says J.D. Vance emerged as a center figure in the Iranian nuclear talks in many regional collaboration, analyst reports. It says the Islamic State claims responsibility for the northeast Aleppo attack that unalived 2 Syrian soldiers. It says the attack comes of many series of assaults claimed by the Islamic State since February, once the jihadist group announced what describes a new phase of the operation against the Syrian government. It says Iran claimed that the Strait of Hormuz closed, retaliation for U.S. breaches of the MOU report. According to the Mir, Iran's military declaration of a closure of the Strait as the first step in its retaliation against what it deems violation of the U.S. memorandum of the understanding. Ceasefire talks pause after Iran shut the Strait. Vance delayed his trip to Switzerland, which he arrived there, Switzerland, because I believe they're gonna have talks as of today. Sunday, because the time zones are different both here in comparison to the United States. It says Cold War brewing in Syria as Druze and Kurds and Akhwats resist in al-Sharad rule. It says behind the lines, Syria remains deeply divided along with the ethnic lines with a series of ongoing cold wars underway between the minority communities and the new Sunni Arab authorities. It says U.S. Qatar plans to unfreeze billions in Iranian funds for purchase of humanitarian goods, reports. It says 1 soldier unalive in a Hezbollah overnight attack, and U.S. talks are delayed, right? Because they are going to restart as of today, Sunday. As of tomorrow, which is Sunday. It's to bring out that it's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3, verse 8. Eleven 44 call hello Yahweh. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3, verse 8. It says, in a time to love, in a time of HATE, in a time of war, and a time of peace, right? So we still live in a time of war, and we still live in a time of HATE. Ecclesiasticus 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time of every purpose of heaven, right? So we live in these modern day times and seasons in every purpose of heaven, which is war, evil, and a pestilence. And the wars is only going to continue to increase, and that's what we're seeing. And this is the prophet Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9. Despite the fact J.D. Vance and his delegates in Iran, they just arrived over there in Switzerland to have the first round of talks between Iran and the United States, because they just recently arrived over there in Sweden. They're supposed to have the talks today, Sunday, try to have further progress with nuclear talks and progress with the deal that they had in place that they recently signed electronically of the mentoring of the MOU deal between Iran and the United States. And then you got this recent tensions be heating up between Lebanon and Israel of Hezbollah and versus Israel Defense Force, because they recently did an airstrike, and that was kind of potentially mess with the ceasefire. It says Joel chapter 3 and verse 9 proclaim indeed this among the Gentiles, right? The Gentiles are armies of other nations. Prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, right? So let all the men of war draw near, let them come up over there in Western Asia. Joel chapter 3, verse 10, beat your plowshares and the swords and the plenty hooks of the spears, let the weak sound strong, right? So let the weak sound strong over there in Western Asia. That's what we're seeing. The proxy groups and the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force and its allies, as you got the new escalations heating back up between the different army factions over there in Syria, in that region, and between the borders of Syria, near Syria, over there in different parts of there in Western Asia. So you're still gonna have the proxy groups and the pro-Iranian groups still gonna be going against the Israel Defense Force between the borders of Golan Heights, Iraq, and Syria. And this is the book of Isaiah, and this is a future prophecy that we're gonna be seeing in making as well too. Isaiah 17 verse 1, the prophecy is about Damascus. Isaiah 17 verse 1, the burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be Israel. Right, because that area, you got different armies of factions clashing against one another. And then you got the proxy groups going against one another. And then you got the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force, that as well too. And many different escalations and tensions are heating up throughout that whole region. So this is a future prophecy that we're seeing in the making. And that's going to lead up to the Third World War. Isaiah 17 verse 9, in that day shall his strong cities be as forsaken and brought in the uttermost branch, which they left, because the children of Israel should be desolate. Right, so that's going to be desolate because we're still going to have heavy escalations and tensions are heating up between the nations and different organizations and factors over there in that area between the borders of Iraq and Syria. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right, despite the fact they might have these talks tomorrow between the delegations of Iran and the delegations of the United States. So despite the fact they might have talks, because you had bring out that news article as well too, because you had one of the representations of the Israel Defense Force. I believe they were saying that even if the United States might demand Israel to fully withdraw from Lebanon, but I believe they said they're going to continue to have their troops still be stationed over there in the area. Even if they try to force or to demand, Hezbollah fully disarm themselves, but they still going to still be stationed over there in the area. Potentially might be for years, even longer than that. It says, according to report as a news article from a time of Israel. I'm going to bring that news article out as well too. It says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Writers will hear wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it's not yet. Right, so it's going to come to pass. I'm not going to end shit. This is Matthew 24. It's the book of Matthew 24 and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, which goes to Ethnos. And there should be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, right along with it. Luke 21 and verse 25. It says, there shall be signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars, upon the earth. Discretion of nations will perplex, see rich one. Right, discretion of nations will perplex, see rich one. And we've seen that among the nations. So that's only going to continue to increase. So you even bring up that news article that I just mentioned. So despite the fact they had these talks between Iran and the United States, as of today, Sunday, over there in Switzerland, you have one of the leaders of the Israel Defense Force said the army men still gonna continue to be over there in Lebanon. It says events in Switzerland for Iran talks. It says emergency session on Hezbollah, Israel says added to schedule. It says an Iranian team already in Burkstock resorted. It says IDF will remain in Lebanon. Yep, that's the article. IDF will remain in Lebanon for years and won't withdraw even if U.S. demands. It says Netanyahu agrees. It says the 4th IDF fatally in Friday's Hezbollah attack on tank named as the staff of Hasturs, if I pronounced that right. This is a report 13 minutes ago. Emergency sessions on Israel Hezbollah conflict added to the schedule to U.S. talks in Switzerland reported. 21 minutes ago, J.D. Vance arrived in Switzerland, adding the head of the U.S.-Iran deal. 1 hour ago, this is 1 hour ago. Smotrich, a small hatter, IDF Edomite. It says the IDF will stay in Lebanon for years until after Lebanon. It says until Hezbollah disarms won't withdraw, even if demands. It says Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich promised that Israel will stay in the secure zone it is holding inside Lebanon for years to come and won't withdraw even in the face of the explicit U.S. demands to do so. In an interview with the Maklar Roxon newspaper, if I pronounce his name right, it says published over the weekend, Smotrich added that he estimated that no such American demand will come because they understand our red lines. It says asked if the military will stay in Lebanon for years. The far right minister says yes, and I say this as someone who currently is holding negotiations over the management of the defense budget for the next decade. It says asked if Israel should be formally army post an entire base in the security zone. Smotrich replies, everything definitely. We are there until Hezbollah disarm. And I think also beyond that, because we need a defendable borders. It argues that the borders set by the Sykes-Picot Agreement of the 1916 illogical and didn't consider the terrain topographic. But of course, until Hezbollah disarm, we aren't moving in a millimeter. This is the stance of the Prime Minister and Defense Minister, and mine too. And we are determined to stick to that. So they're gonna undermine the ways of the United States, even if the Trump administration asks them to fully withdraw over there and not do no future attacks, and they still gonna be at those borders over there in Lebanon. And that lets you know that's an indicator that tension's still gonna mount up between Israel Defense Force and between Hezbollah and Israel Defense Force between the borders of Lebanon and Israel. This is Luke 21 verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and stars upon the earth's restorations will put rich born. This is Luke 21, right things to come. Luke 21 verse 10. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. This is Revelations 11 verse 14. The second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Right? So the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. So hopefully this World War III news updates was edifying as of June the 20th, 2026 on this Saturday night. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Makakadash, and the Heavenly Father, the true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Kabashai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Holy Tongue. And I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim Ma'akwaf. Until next time, I say Kwame Shirala, and above all, Shalom.